dun dun. Dun 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 dun. I'm trying out different musicians for the theme music. Anyway.
Hello, Chris playing now?
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Welcome back to another Getting Projects Done with me, Chris. We are getting back to work on our trusty, rusty pig Gator. As you may or may not recall, previous episode, we attached the cages and also attached his head. And so now it's had plenty of time to sit and cure. And, you know, this stuff is solid now. So, yeah. We are ready to continue. I think today I'm going to get started on the cages and start getting some color on these wood. Let's color in the wood. Joined today by Boop. So far, I don't know if any other of the Moonkeys will join us today. That's all right. It doesn't even matter if one monkey joins. Of course, do you feel lonely if there's just one of you in here?
What do you say, Chris? We don't matter?
No, not at all. Not at all, man. Not at all.
Do any of us? You guys thought you're here for a painting. No, you're getting a deep philosophical. Holy cosmic philosophy.
Well, yeah, isn't that the way it usually goes?
In the end, does any of this even match up?
Do we? All right, I'm going to get things started with some Sotec green. I'm going to do a little wash for these cages. Begin the weathering process. I think we'll do the cages first and then move on to the wood. Just because to finish off the cages, we're going to do a little bit of dry brushing and we'll probably end up making a mess. So, yeah. That's why we'll do the wood last. Does that sound good to you? Sound like a plan?
Sounds like you were the main.
That's what I do, man. I like moving with a plan. I don't like just kind of, you know. Feel so disorganized when I do that kind of thing. Yeah, you know, like I like having a goal to what I'm up to. Not just kind of, you know, willy-nilly.
Wing it, don't fly by the ant.
Yeah, you know. Pretty much. Sophie! Hey, Chris. Chat Happy Wednesday. Chat Happy Wednesday. Is it Chat Happy Wednesday? That sounds like a thing. Chat Happy Wednesdays. We'll make our wash right here. Gonna use my wet palette. Not that it really matters, but...
I did do some hobbying.
Oh, yeah? What'd you do?
I put together some banshees.
Some what?
Eldar banshees.
Oh, nice. The new one?
Yeah.
Nice.
I had some from when they came out with Jane's Arn box set, and I built those. But then I got another box for my Secret Santa.
Oh, nice.
And I finally got around to building it, because I figured out what I wanted to do with it. Because they weren't in my LA pocket. But I was like, you know what? I can just keep adding shit to my old way. So that, because right now my old way is at like 2,000 points. But I'm like, if I keep adding stuff, that'll just let me cycle through stuff.
No, that's cool.
Because they just have, my old way banshees so far are just, they're Exarch. Two sword one. She gives up her shuriken pistol for another mirror sword.
Right.
And so this one I built with the option where they have just their mask on, they're not wearing the whole helmet. And then I gave the Exarch the execution blade. So like the pole arm. I need to get another two boxes. Both squads go 10. So that way I can field them in 5 or 10. I may never play with it to its like full capacity, but if it's something like when Chaos Marines could be taken in squads of 20, even though I would not field them in 20. I would build enough to where I could field them in squads of. Because you never know. One day you might just want to be like, yeah, screw it. I'm just going to field like 3 squads of scale. Just like my Lehman Russes for my guard. Am I ever going to field 9 Lehman Russes? No. But they can be fielded in like little platoon, like tank platoons of 3. So why not?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Again, it's good to have a plan, man.
I only do that for like armies I really plan on playing. If it's like on a whim, I'll only build it to like 1,000 point dot. I don't know if a lot of other people's local stores did it, but a couple months after 9 dropped, my store went to new table sizes and they did 4x4 and only really allow on like a normal day when there's people playing, they only really allow like 1,000, maybe 1,500 point games, depending on like how busy it is.
Well, I'd imagine too it's for foot traffic as well, right? They don't want to just have the place preoccupied with a bunch of people sitting around.
Well, because 3 4x4 tables takes up less space than 2 6x4s. So one, you're getting 2 more people are able to play at 4, and not have to use a demo. So you went from 3 tables, one being a divided up demo table that sometimes people could use, to he has a dedicated demo table now, and then 3 gaming tables. So he has 4. So he went up a table, but now he doesn't have to tear down his demo stuff every time people want to play. So he has his little table with the Age of Sigmar and the 40k starters, little like mats that come with them now. You get the the command edition. The new like $100 box comes with like the little cardboard mat or whatever.
Yeah.
So he has those set up on 2 tables, like a long table up front. Has a game, like actual gaming tables, which is. But they take up less space, so he's able to get more people like through the store, and he has technically 1 more gaming table. So instead of 4 people hogging tables, it's now 6 people hogging tables. Because we had that problem where people would come in, play, but then they would take all day.
Yeah.
Playing, 2,000, 25,000, or not 2,500. Playing basically the bigger games of 40k and then taking. So he decided, screw it, I'm just going to go to the minimum table size, which is 4x4. Has 3 tables, and so far it's been working. And people haven't been hogging tables all day. Instead of 1, maybe 2 game table, each table's getting maybe 3 days or 3 games a day. More people are able to actually, like, if they show up, more people are actually getting it played.
Yeah, that's all right.
So if I get, like, on a whim, the Gene Stealer cults I want to paint is on a whim, so I'm only ever going to build 1,000 points. That's it, nothing. Unless I decide, I no longer play, I don't know, my Blood Angels. And then I'll get rid of Blood Angels, and then I'll Gene Stealer cults, yeah. Let's go. More Gene Stealer.
Right.
Back in the day, 1,000 points might have been a lot of a lot of models, but every edition since 7th, 8th, basically 8th, it started in 8th, the points have been steadily going up. And model counts, even for big games, going. $2,000 points, 9th edition, is a lot less models than it was in like 5th or 4th. Definitely fourth, because that was one back when guard, he actually fielded platoon. So it was 50 dudes was like one troop choice.
Yeah, and people were encouraged then to play Apocalypse rather than big games. Which only makes sense.
So now that, since so it's been 6th edition, I believe is when they changed guard to no longer having to field like your one troop choice. So you'd have to field 2 platoons. That's 100 guys minimum. I think it was 6th edition. It might have been 5th, but I feel like it was 6th before I go look at the codex. Is when they changed it to guard squads or 20. I mean, not 20, or 10 models. And then your conscript platoon is like where you get your big model. But even then, it's not as big because the conscript platoon cap at 30 guys. Which, for me, I didn't like it thematically, but it was definitely like a... when they change something to make it user... forget what... There's a term. I guess user-friendly. Yeah, They made guard friendly. Edition. You no longer had to field at least 100 guards. You could field 30 for a different squad.
Who dat joining us? Oh, Cosmic. What's happening?
Oh, nothing much. Working on my Necrons.
Cool. Anything in particular you're working on, like Necrons?
My 3D printed Lich Guard.
Cool.
Who have way too intricate of shields.
Another thing I did. I invested in 3D printable STL.
Oh yeah.
I saw. What is it? Raging Heroes started doing like 3D printable like Patreon subscriptions like a year ago, and for December they put out a bunch of like Muscovite / like Cossack minis, and for $16 I got like a crap. I was like, ooh, of STL files. I was like, oh, I can even build. In their subscription they even gave me a 3D printable like Kremlin terrain piece that I can print out. It looks like it's the size of like the old GW like fantasy watchtower, if you remember that.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I have more 3D printable files than I'll ever print out at this point.
Since being laid off, I've gotten more, I guess, fiscally conscious. So like whenever there's like a really good deal, take advantage of it instead of buying another box of space for me.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the opposite.
So $16 getting me like crap ton of STL files that as long as I supply my printer with resin, I haven't hooked up my printer yet, or used any resin, so it's like, $16 and all these minis.
Yeah, I'll eventually take the plunge into 3D printing at some point. When? Don't know. When I get around to it.
I have enough 3D printers for everybody.
Do you have like a print farm or what?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Chris?
Do you got a print farm or what?
The start of one. I've got 3 in my office right now. I just need to find more space to put more printers. My wife thinks I have
Chris, your peanut butter asked a question specifically for you. Because this is your time to bring up Turbo Dork.
Say what? Scott Radham, hey guys, just working from home today. Cold as shit, short week, so not leaving. Yeah, well, Scott's out in the prairie, so from what I understand, yeah, it's fucking cold as balls out there. It's like minus 40 or some shit. Sir Peanut Butter. Hey Chris, have you had a chance to try any of the new Turbo Dork? I'm interested in how their black metallic compares to things like Scale 75. I have not played with the Turbo Dork Metallic. I do have them. Their last release of paints. I got this little handy dandy case. It's a Green Stuff World case I picked up. I did a video on it. But I had a plan. Where's black? Black right here? Yeah. Black ice. Now, I have not had a chance to test this out. Definitely would test it against something like Scale 75's black metal. But yeah, I have not tested it yet. Not compared it. Not done anything with it yet. I do have a model in mind to play with it. Mainly because, you know, reasons, I suppose. But my plan was this guy right here. I have a plan. And this is going to be the test for it. But yeah.
Ooh, a Chaos Champion. Nice.
It's not a Chaos Champion.
Not yet.
He will be.
I love Turbo Dork. I used them on my Lightning Claws for my Terminators and Warp Talons. And I've got some. I was able to get a picture where you can clearly see the shift happening, and you can see the line in between the two different colors. It's actually really awesome.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Did you post it?
Let me see if I can find that one, and I'll drop it in.
Yeah, just put it in the Discord or, you know.
Yeah, let's see. I don't remember where I had.
Use my hair
I
dryer
have so
here.
many Discords, I don't remember which ones to share stuff on, kind of stuff on.
Work in progress. Any time, like, you know.
Well, no,
If it's not-
I don't remember which Discord I shared it in.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll just drop it in Whip so you can take a look at it later.
Yeah.
Like, you can see right on his lightning claw on it, when you look, where it's got the clear division of colors, except for third.
Yeah, I like the work Turbo Dork does as far as, you know, giving us
Shell
different
Shock is by
things.
far my favorite.
Shell Shock. Yeah. I think I've used that on something.
The purple-green shift is so awesome.
Yeah. Well, they have that other one too that's really good for Dark Eldar. It has that purpley green shift. I can't remember what color that one is, but yeah.
Aside from Bubblegum Crisis.
Bubblegum Crisis, yep. We'll use that one.
Partial to Let Them Eat Cake and is it Lunar Eclipse?
Have you tried the Turbo Dorks over, like, non-blacks before?
Yeah. Tried them over gray and bone and white.
How do they look over black versus other things?
For example, like a lot of the color shifts, if you go with, say, really light values, you see the color shift, but it reads more like interference paint as opposed to a color shift paint. So it feels more like you're seeing, like, for example, if I was painting this guy here with his flesh was really, really light, and I put a Turbo Dork on it, like, say, for example, I don't know, pick one of the color shifts, and a lot of that undercolor would read through it. So any of the deeper colors in the color shift won't be too visible right away, but the very bright tones, especially where you shimmer on the surface, it'll look like interference colors. If you've ever used the interference colors, where basically they have a clear base to them, but they have that bright metallic shine to it. And so when you're looking at it head on, you see the base color, but then when you see it in the light and you kind of change the angle, you'll see that bright shine of metallic.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's more like an interference color as opposed to a metallic or a color shift. Interference colors, I have a few like from Mr. Color, and they work exact same way. They're just like a really, really thinned out metallic paint with no body, and so you only see it in like ambient light. But it gives you it gives that surface a nice shine. It makes things look really pearlescent, if that makes sense.
I was just curious because, like, I know the bottle I have is very specific on the fact that you're supposed to use a black undercoat, so I never tried it on anything else.
Right. Well, when you're using any metallics, regardless of brand, I highly recommend using a gloss black primer, or at least, at the very least, a gloss base. Now, you could, for example, with whatever color you're working with, use a different color base, be it kind of dark. So like a navy blue, dark gray, dark red, dark green, whatever. And if your color shift is in a similar hue, then it really kind of accentuates that initial base color that you see. Because when you're looking at the color shifts, one color is very dominant, and then the other one is not so dominant, and that's usually like we're at the peripheral, where the color changes. And so if you go, like, say for example, here, let's talk real fucking examples here. Let's grab a color shift.
I was curious, like, I've got a bunch of stuff I base coated purple. Now I was curious what would happen if I put the shell shock over it.
I'm sorry, shell shock over what?
Over a purple.
Oh yeah. So you would see lots of the purple. Yeah, you would see lots of the purple, and that slight green. You would catch that in the high points of the light, because it's all about how
that actually might be a thing now for my next time.
Yeah, because like say for example like 3D glasses, I'm pretty sure this is predominantly a dark green color when you're first looking at it, but then it goes to this magenta values out on the edges of what you're looking at, or it might be the other way around. Either way, if you know what the paint is going to do on top of black, if you go with say a dark base color, so say for example this goes it's predominantly a dark greeny color, then you can go with a really dark green, and that would just make that look really, really shiny metallic, but then you would catch this magenta out on the edges. And so it actually wouldn't, like, if this paint was more like a 50-50, then it would be more 60 or 70-30 kind of thing.
Yeah, because I love the purple color that shell shock has, that like really stand out purple metallic. Like, yeah, almost like very fantasy-esque.
Shell shocked. I'm trying to remember which
very
one.
Not real.
Another one that acts more like an interference is Motherlode. This one here, because you can throw this on top of almost any color, and it'll give you this slight shifting value in Motherlode. It gives you this pearlescence, but it has like a very clear base to it, so it actually is more like an interference color. It's really good. What were we talking about? No. Fuck.
You were talking about shell shock.
Shell shock, that's it. I'm looking for mine.
Yeah, like I was drawn to shell shock because it doesn't, like, when you describe it to somebody, it does not feel like a color combination you'll like, I think. Like, right. When you tell somebody that it's metallic purple green shift and people are like, wait, what? But when you see it and you look at it do the shift, it just pops, I think.
Fuck, I can't find my shell shock. What the fuck? They tell me it's one of the colors I left out.
But yeah, it's a very, like, think it's a deeper purple metallic into like this weird off green. So,
It's a shift, or is it a regular metallic?
it's a color shift. It's the one I used on those lightning claws.
Yeah. I'm just having a hard time finding it in my collection.
I'll be honest, color shift is the only thing I knew that they do. I didn't know they actually did non-color shift. I thought it was just, they were specialized into that.
No, they do colored metallics. They have a wide range. I can't find shell shock. What the fuck? Anyway, yeah. They do a wide range of color shifts and metallics. The metallics are really, really fun. They're really good. I like them just for the fact that they're just different colors, I like...
Right, they're not just gold and silver.
Yeah, they're not just iterations of gold and silver, right? They have like a hot pink, bright green, dark greens, Enough colors there now that if you want to do a full metallic progression quickly through, say, for example, you were doing salamanders and you wanted them all to be metallic green, well, there's enough metallic greens there for you to do the base, the shadows, and the highlights.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So it's pretty fun.
Yeah. Darkstar had been my go-to for a while, but the inability to get it at a reasonable price as individual bottles in the U.S. has really turned me from it.
Yeah.
Because I even directly contacted them, and I'm like, so is there any distributors I could point people to that have this stuff? They're like, the nearest one to the U.S. is in Stanley. That's not near. I don't think you understand the word near.
Yeah.
Because I bought the full set at one point, and I love it. And it's going to be really hard giving up a few of the colors, but I'm not paying $12 to get a bottle. Because once you couple in, it's like $5 a bottle US comes out to be, and then like $7 to ship a bottle. You have to wait until you need a bunch of it or a whole set.
Sophie, black ice sounds interesting. Yeah, it's a black metallic. Now, how does it compare to other black metallics? I have no idea, as I have not done the tests, so I could not knowledgeably say. But it looks interesting. It definitely looks interesting. Black ice. So we're just using some nilic oxide here. This little cage here, I'm laying actually quite a bit down, but that's okay. So if you lay quite a bit down, you can see it looks really, really bright. We just come in with a damp brush, just pull some of that excess off. Kind of just stipple it around, move some of the color around in case it's just a little too intense for you. I really just want it more or less inside, around the rivets and such. Maybe a bit more water. We'll throw a little bit more water into this. Really thin it down. We probably could have used contrast medium or even Lamian medium to thin this down, but that's okay. Scott Radom, if there is one mini I am sick of seeing right now, it is the Emperor's Champion. All out on it. Out. In case you were wondering. I was thinking to myself, like, what is Scott's opinion on the Emperor's Champion? Is he all in on it, or is he out? Is he all out on it? I don't know. It's a good thing you chimed in on that, Scott, because now I know.
Knowing is half the battle.
And knowing is half the battle. But what's the other half?
Well, according to Twisted Toy Fair Theater, and I quote, violence!
I thought it was just red laser beams.
No.
Oh.
Red laser beams is a quarter of it, because the other quarter is blue laser beams, and then half of it is knowing.
Right. I forgot about that. Again, knowing's half the battle. Nothing says the 80s more than that, eh? That sentiment, that statement. Knowing is half the battle. It's basically a lesson in rhetoric from the 80s. Because the 80s gave us the war on drugs, war on this and that. It's always a war on this or that. Why is that?
Why does there always have to be a war?
Yeah, why does it always have to be a war on this?
Can't we just, cuddle with, whatever?
It's always got to be war. They're declaring war on this and that. And it's like, holy fuck.
Aggressive cuddling should be a thing.
Aggressive cuddling should be a thing, but I get the feeling that probably just end up dying from it. Well, it's his fault. He cuddled. He aggressively cuddled.
I almost accidentally shared the picture of me where I drilled into my... Oops.
Were you trying to share inappropriate stuff on my forum?
Only for you. No, I was...
I swear to God, it's not a dick pic. Yeah.
And I was trying to drill in just deep enough to put a magnet into it for my movement trains. And because it's a sculpted base, I don't know if you're familiar with Elric's Death March bases.
No.
That he does. But there's like recessed areas on it. I didn't realize how thin it was between the two spots. The drill bit slipped and went about 1/8 of an inch into my finger.
Oh.
Yeah, I was really afraid I did nerve damage or something.
Yeah.
I just clenched my fist and yelled for my wife to come out with something. She's like, "Are you bleeding?" I'm like, "I don't know. It went into my finger. I stopped. I just clenched my fist and asked for help."
Well, at least she was there to help you. You weren't home
I know
alone.
better than to examine it until you get it to, stop the bleeding.
That's it for the cages. Let that dry. Sir Peanut Butter, I've been using some jank scale 75 black metal with Vallejo Mecha Black. So the black ice is closer to what I'm going for. That would be nice. Sir Peanut Butter, violence isn't the answer. It's the question. And the answer is yes. Yeah, I suppose. Scott Radom, the Emperor's Champion. I just hate any... Look, I got my sword mini. Also, it's been the same mini every edition. To keep it positive, I love that Imperial Fist Terminator leader guy that came out a while back. Can't remember that mini's name. Imperial Fist leader, Terminator leader guy. I'm not sure which one he's talking about there.
The Imperial Fist Praetor from 30K? Maybe?
I don't know.
Because there was a Terminator Praetor for Imperial Fist and a regular Praetor for Imperial Fist that both came out. And they did the same thing for Sons of Horus.
Sophie, cuddling sounds nice to me. Yeah. Oh, it is. Cuddling's nice. Cuddling
there's
violently.
cuddling.
There's professional cuddling, yeah. Called sex workers.
Like it's a service you can hire.
Sure.
It's weird.
Sex workers. I get it.
Nope. They do not engage in any such acts, according to the website.
They do. It's just like masseuses.
According to the website.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to skirt around, sex laws, apparently. But, I mean, just fucking legalize the shit, and we don't have to worry about all these, false...
that's what Vegas did.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, just legalize the shit.
Shit out of that stuff, I bet.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, people want to work in the sex industry, let them work in the sex industry, and, you don't have to fucking dance around and make up, oh, this is a massage parlor. No, it's not. It's, it's a rub and tug. You're getting pulled, right? So, just, legalize the shit.
What you came in for, let us just give you what you came for and be done.
Yeah, and that way you don't have to have this confusion because, I mean, like, what if, my chiropractor tells me, yeah, you should go in and set an appointment with this place or, go whatever, massage, joint you go to.
Highly regulated.
Yeah, exactly. And, you just don't have to fucking, worry about that shit because then you show up and it's like, yeah, I'm here for my massage. And then, you're getting oiled down for a shiatsu and fucking all of a sudden she's pulling on your crank and it's like, whoa, wait a second here. I thought this was just, okay, I'll complain after she finishes.
And we have just proven that this is not a G-rated stream.
It never is.
I said it was. I'm just saying we proved it.
Yeah, I've never been G-rated. The only time I've ever gone along with the G rating is when others were telling me, yeah, you know what, Chris, we try and keep it kind of, swear word innuendo free around here. And I'm like, that's boring.
You're like, where's the exit? Work meetings and even
I think one of the biggest things why I don't do the G rating thing is that there's just a lot of problems associated with making content with kids involved. There's all sorts of fucking legal issues. And of course, because, if you are making content geared towards kids, you have a lot of different eyeballs watching your shit. You know what I mean? And you can't talk.
I didn't mean to derail it, so I was just making.
Well, no, but I mean, like, that's why I don't, and I don't like it, because, well, first off, this hobby that we're in, is not geared towards kids. And, gearing it towards kids, I think is kind of a silly idea.
That those Warhammer for Kids books?
Yeah, like Warhammer for Kids, like that does not make a lot of sense to me.
How do you explain like corn demons to a 5-year-old? Like,
well, how do you explain mass murder and genocide? These concepts.
Or pleasure cults. Let's just
Right.
look
What,
at pleasure cults.
Daddy? What's hedonism? Why are they called hedonites? Right? Like, it gets you into a lot of weird conversations that, you know,
Daddy, why does the demon not have a shirt on?
right. You know what I mean? And most people, especially in North America, they're not ready to have that conversation.
What?
What? The conversation I'm having right now. If you weren't listening, you have to go back.
I think
So I'm not
Phil
fucking
has
explaining
been
it all again.
okay for a good chunk here.
Yeah, no, I was gone for a minute.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, I'll have to read back and figure out the topic.
We're talking about basically the stream being for kids, and I don't agree with this subject matter and making it for kids.
Oh, okay. No.
I made the jest that we had proven that this stream was not G-rated.
Yeah, no. I don't abide by it. And also, when you are making G-rated type of content, you can't be honest.
Nope.
Right? Like, when you stub your toe, do you go, oh, darn? Or do you go, holy fuck, I think I busted my fucking toenail and fucking bullshit? You know what I mean?
My
Like,
mother yells, oh, sugar beets, every time.
right, when she'd rather be saying something else. And in fact, she's probably causing an aneurysm in her brain every time she tries to stop herself from saying this shit.
He hates what I say. It's so hilarious.
Oh, yeah, I get to bust this brush out today. Yay! Well, we'll still use this one. Should probably use this one too. A couple streams ago, and I was talking about my trusty rusty dry brush here. This is the Citadel small dry brush, and I was talking about how I need a new one because this one's pretty tired. And so when I went and got the Banshees, and I got this small dry brush, so I bought a replacement, and so this will come into play today.
I do love the GW dry brushes.
Sure.
I'm not a fan of their other brushes, but the dry brushes are really good.
No, they're all fine. I mean, they're all fine. I mean, like, you know, brushes.
I have other favorites for the other casts, but those dry brushes, like, they really seem to stand out to me.
Yeah. I mean, most of the
As far as
brushes.
getting the product right.
Well, most of the brushes that Citadel makes, like with these natural fibers, they are a blend of natural fibers. So they're not all sables or anything like that. Versus like their synthetics. Their synthetics are obviously a nylon base. Where are the synthetics?
Right. Their sables, aren't their sables basically a blend that includes sable?
Yes. Yeah.
So that they can say they're sable.
Right, because the way it works right now, especially for sable brushes, is that the price has really gone up because, well, shit, at the beginning of the pandemic, one of the mink farms had to be destroyed. The entire crop of mink had to be destroyed, which is sad.
What
because
happened?
it was like in Amsterdam or something like that.
Yeah, they got like infected.
Yeah, at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was showing that these minks were fucking infected with something. I don't know if it was COVID or if it was something else, but yeah, they ended up having to destroy the entire crop of mink that they had, which was a big hit because there aren't really that many mink farms because, you know, obviously the regulations and mistreating, and so you end up having a lot of these mink farms in, you know, very far eastern countries in Europe as well as in Russia. And apparently Russia, they have this kind of game on lockdown because a lot of the mink comes out of their country. Like I have these Rubelovs. They're made in Russia. These are Kolonsky sables. Really nice brushes. They're very, very soft. I don't use these very often. And yeah, they're really nice. But the thing is, though, is they are very affordable. These brushes, and they're nice and soft, and they come to nice fine points.
They're affordable, and unless you're buying from a Russian art store, hard to get a hold of because when the places, you know, in North America, like get them in stock, they're gone.
Right. Well, because everybody wants them, right?
They're
But that's also the thing, is that the average consumer and people getting into this hobby, they get told all the time, "Well, get Sable brushes, get these good brushes, you know, these Artis Opus, these Winsor Newtons," right? They don't need them. When you're brand new to this hobby, you don't need it.
In fact, I would recommend getting synthetics, because when you're brand new to the hobby, unless you're already in a painting hobby beforehand, you're probably going to destroy that brush.
You're more than likely going to destroy the brush, yeah. And then you're going to waste $30 on a good Sable brush, and then think you were led astray, or, you know, the brushes that you got were crap, or people were wrong, or somebody was doing you wrong. Whatever it is, you're going to look for somebody to blame other than your own ignorance in the subject matter.
My first brush that I got in this hobby lasted me 12 years.
Yeah. I mean, most brushes, yeah.
It eventually stopped being useful even as a driver. It was a very sad day when I threw that one.
Did you play taps in the background?
I did on my film. I got into this when I was 13.
Yeah, it's about the age I was.
And we won't talk about how old I am now or how long I've been doing this.
Well, I've been doing this since 88. I was 13 in 88.
Okay, you're older than me, which I generally don't encounter. But...
yeah.
Because I'm old.
But, yeah. Sophie, in Japan, you can hire someone to just cuddle you. Scott, Torgaradon. That's a dude name. Okay. Kim, hey. Sophie, I don't swear or make any innuendo comments. Honest. No? Well, I mean, you know, to each his own. I mean, you know, if you don't want to swear, you don't want to swear. In my experience, though, people that swear tend to be more honest with themselves and with the people around them. Scott, you don't need to kid down Warhammer. Part of what most 10-year-olds liked about Tolkien and shit like that wasn't kid stuff. People died. Warhammer's cool to young people who like cool shit. But do they? I mean, if it was really just that, then more and more kids would be into Warhammer. But I don't see that. I don't see a lot of kids getting really fired up about the Warhammers. Unless, of course, we're talking about video games and shit.
My local... Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I agree with Chris, that whenever I see, like, younger kids talking about Warhammer, they're talking about the video game.
Right, they're talking about the video game. They're not talking about this hobby. They're not talking about the models. They're not talking about the game, like the tabletop game.
About, you know, like Space Marine.
And they're definitely not talking about the literature. Literature is the last step for young people in this hobby.
Yeah, unless they're an avid reader to begin with, I don't feel that the literature is a gateway.
And with young kids these days, that the kids being into literature, those are little unicorns. Little kids who are into literature and reading. Yeah, those are unicorns you're talking about. And and making this hobby safe for those unicorns is admirable, but as far as the market is concerned, and as far as sustainability, as far as making any money, I don't think so. Making stuff geared towards kids in this hobby, I don't really see benefit. Maybe there's long term, if the goal is to play the long game here, okay, we'll see what we'll see, I guess. But in my opinion, no. Yeah. It's not for kids.
Go ahead.
Shut your fucking bird up.
Hey, Charlie. Shut the fuck up.
But our local, we've got, like, I would say, like, the strongest showing on, like, game night we've had is 20 people. But we have 3 people under 18 that play.
Sure.
Everybody else is, like, we've got a couple in mid-20s, but the majority of our local is 30 plus.
Sure. And when I'm talking kids, I'm talking under 13.
Yeah. We have, I think the youngest person we have is he's either 14 or 15.
Sure.
He's the one I've currently conscripted into painting my Gene Stealer cults.
Yeah, and that's a fine age, but you're starting to get into more adult when you're 13, 14.
It's not an 8-year-old game.
Right, exactly. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, is under 13. This hobby and making content geared towards them, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, is 12 and younger.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of eyeballs on you when you are making content geared towards that audience. And rightly so, because those are young developing minds.
Mm-hmm.
But once you start hitting 13, you start making your own opinions about stuff.
Right. I don't think that, there's definitely something to be said of, you don't want to make content that alienates them, but you don't want to cater the content either. Like, the content just needs to be what it is. You don't need to actively go, well, let's make something for adults. You just go, I want to make something, and it happens to be adult,
Right, and that's the way I approach it. Because I, as a parent, know that the parents should be overseeing what their children are consuming as far as internet and shit like that is concerned. What movies they're watching, TV shows. A good parent is watching what their children are consuming.
Would you let a 5-year-old child of yours be read a Warhammer book?
A regular book? No, because there's too many concepts in there that are not child friendly. Not that they're bad or anything like that. It's just that they're just too heavy a topic.
Yeah, the book I love to cite when people talk about want to talk about getting kids in. I'm like, go read Fulgrim and then tell me if you want your kids reading.
Exactly. No, there's too many adult concepts.
The most book I've come across with a lot of topics, but it deals with a lot of adult things that even for me, I'm like, there's definitely some red lines.
Well, definitely.
And it's all of those things exist in the universe of 40K. So, you want your kid exposed to that universe yet?
Right. It's not that they're bad. It's just these are just some ideas that just young people just are not going to care about. And so trying to get young kids into Warhammer and 40K and stuff like that, I think it's not a very good move. If the kid shows interest, sure, encourage it, right? But that is entirely up to the parent. I mean, if you as a Warhammer fan have kids and encourage them, then, that's fine. That's the parent's call. But it is not on the content creator to make content in this genre kid-friendly. That's the parent's job. And if they only want their kid to absorb certain kinds of ideas and things like that, that's the parent's call. It's on the parent. Same with R-rated movies. I mean, I've been watching R-rated movies since I was a young fella, but that was my parents' decision to, let me watch Terminator or Aliens or RoboCop when I was clearly under 13 at that time. I didn't turn up too fucked up, but, whatever, right? So, no, it's all these things are always on the parents. It is the parents' job to filter out all these fucking awful things that are in TV, movies, books, and the big one, the internet. It's the parents. It's not up to...
I was going to say, I know the people on the internet. I'm talking to them.
Right. But, again, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to filter myself for kids because I don't want an audience of kids. I'm not here to babysit your kids. I'm not going to talk about kid-friendly things. I'm going to talk about the things that interest me. And I'm only looking to attract like-minded individuals. And what we're talking about basically is personal responsibility, essentially.
Wait, that exists?
Yeah, exactly.
From one end of this galaxy to another. I ain't never seen anything to suggest that personal responsibility is out there.
Yeah. Sophie, what age do you think peeps should be to start in the hobby? Start at any time they want. I don't think there's an age limit. Some people progress, mature faster than others. So, having these kind of roadblocks, these gates, if you will, I don't think are really necessary, because people will take up whatever they want whenever they want. Some people, still watch cartoons, but cartoons are really made for kids, right? Same with Star Wars. Like, for example, Star Wars. Star Wars is made for kids. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Star Wars is made for kids. But tons and tons of adults enjoy it. Does that mean they can't enjoy it because it's made for kids? Right?
I think a child like 13 below wouldn't necessarily think go into Warhammer thinking, oh, this lore is so cool. They go, oh, cool model, he has a gun. I want to paint him.
But do they want to? Is that what their inclination is, though? They see the cool models and want to paint it? I don't think a young kid realizes how much work is involved in painting these miniatures. And that discourages them. And so I don't think that that's actually a very good thing for kids, because all it's doing is setting them up for disappointment. Unless, of course, your goal is to encourage them to overcome disappointment. And if it's going to be a teaching tool for a kid to learn how to deal with disappointment, and what they see is not what they get. But again, that's a parental thing. That's not on the manufacturer of these things. It's not up to Games Workshop to make this stuff kid-friendly. It's up to the parent.
I'm just realizing that I was a really weird kid.
Same here. We all were. We all were weird kids.
My parents were.
Yeah.
Kids are pretty fucking weird.
They are. And the world they live in right now, it is a really fucking weird place. And, I don't envy any parent these days. Other than, yeah, you should be watching what your fucking kids are consuming as far as the internet is concerned. Because I know, personally, things like Instagram and Twitter and shit like that, they fuck up young kids' brains on how this world works.
I mean, I'll be honest. Any parent that claims their kid, they didn't know what their kid was up to at any point, I'm like, what have you been doing?
Right?
Like, I couldn't go out, I couldn't leave my house without telling my parents what was going on. They knew every time I logged into the internet and everything, and it's like, how do you not know these things as parents? Do you just not care?
Right. Well, I mean, fuck, to get really heavy, but I mean, what about the parents of these kids who go in and shoot up a school?
Yeah, because a lot of times it's like, because the recent one where they had to go down the parent.
Yeah.
Very irresponsible.
Well, yeah. So at what point do we start holding people really accountable? Are we going to just hold the kids accountable? Or are we going to start holding parents accountable for creating these individuals who have a very skewed worldview, or who have a mental imbalance that should have been addressed? Right? There's all these things that come up. And is it the kid's fault? It is.
Because at some point you have to look at, well, their friend Johnny noticed something was off and he didn't say anything. Is he responsible?
Okay, well, here's another scenario. What if that kid went into that school thinking that he's some sort of super soldier space marine, went in with his bolt gun and decided to kill all the Xenos or kill all the mutants?
shit.
Well, what?
Yeah.
I mean, there have been cases where like people do things like they'll do a scenario in an RPG and then they'll go act that out in real life.
Sure.
And of course it drags whatever game system they were using for it. I mean, I remember as a kid there were stories of people who created like levels in Doom that were real life buildings in their town.
Yeah, yeah.
Which sounds cool because you know it until you think, wait, but what if? And then it's like, yeah.
Right, but my point being is that these are concepts that are not for kids within this game universe. And, you know, when I was a kid, watching Terminator, watching RoboCop, watching Aliens at a very young age, and my parents explained to me, you know, these concepts, and we had conversations about the stuff that I was watching. And that's all it takes. Is he explained, well, this is made up bullshit. It's just made up bullshit. Right? And Warhammer 40,000 is the exact same way. Are we going to blame Warhammer 40,000 the next time, you know, some kid goes into a school with a big fucking machine gun and shoots up a bunch of kids saying purge the heretics or purge the unclean, or, you know what I mean? Are we blaming Warhammer 40,000 for that? Or are we going to blame the parents? Are we going to blame the upcoming, the community? Are we going to blame, you know what I mean? Like, are we going to put where are we putting blame? And it always seems to be that game, where we put blame. And never the personal responsibility on where it belongs. We're always looking for to scapegoat something. When really, it's the parent. The blame falls on the parent, society, the culture. That's where the blame goes. But we never do that. We always want to blame, oh, it's the music, it's the video games, it's the books they're reading, blah, 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 blah. Anyway. We're an hour into this and we're already pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah, I came in at a heavy time.
Yeah, welcome, sheep.
Sheep, I left for like, I don't know, 5 minutes. They got on like heavy topics. I came back and they just kept going.
So Chris, what are you painting?
Painting on this pig gator. Trying to get this son of a bitch.
Up the pig gator.
Yeah, we're working on the pig gator. Last episode that we were working on this guy, I had attached the cages to the main body, and I also attached the head. So now he's completely assembled, believe it or not. And so I'm just working on the oxidization on the brass, and then hopefully we're going to get to the wood. And I probably have been procrastinating on the wood because I'm not sure where I want to go with it, really.
I know where the wood goes.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. I was just waiting for the last little bit of nilic oxide to dry. Then we're going to come in, we're going to dry brush some Sycorax bronze onto this shit.
I didn't even know that was a color.
It's just, well, it might be a different name now, actually. Yeah, the original name was Sycorax bronze. It might not actually exist anymore. They might have changed it to, I don't know.
Favorite
Fucking
GW color ever was Warplock bronze. That like dark bronze.
Yeah. It used to be called Tin Bits way back in the day, and it was always a really great way to start off weathered metal.
Yeah,
I've always used it.
It's what is it? Blackened bronze from Dark Star until I run out of it.
Huh.
And then I'm gonna cry.
Sophie, I was 7 when I started into the hobby, and that was just painting, though my dad built them 13 before the books and gaming side. Yeah. And I mean, like, you know, sitting down and, you know, just playing away with the miniatures, you know what I mean? Like, and just slapping paint on them. Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't discourage that. Outlets for young people, you know, creatively, you know, absolutely nothing wrong with you sitting down and 7-year-old and just playing with a Space Marine, slapping some paint on it, and letting them experiment and see what it's all about, and including them. Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's fully encouraged. Whatever a parent does to include and expand a child's thinking and experiences, 100%, no matter really what it is, other than chopping people's faces off or shit like that, right? That's just fucked up. But sitting down and doing a little bit of hobbying, drawing, whatever, just sitting there and being with your kid is far more important than really whatever the activity is. Just being there with your kid and including them in your activities and your passions and stuff like that, like absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just spend time with your kids, for fuck's sakes. Probably would alleviate a lot of these fucking things that are going on in this planet. Sophie, LOL, I was 16 watching Way the Brush. Yes, like 16-year-old, that's fine. Because, like, you're already aware of a lot of the concepts that I'm talking about and the language that I'm using. You're probably already aware of that kind of shit. So,
And in previous cultures, you'd be an adult.
Sure. Yeah, you can make those arguments back and forth. Well, previous cultures, they did this. Previous culture did that. You know what I mean? Like, today's culture.
But it's an age at which you'd be considered basically adult.
Sure. Well, 15, 16, is an interesting time. And, yeah, that's as far as I'm going to go with it, as far as that's concerned. It's just Z. I agree with you 100%. Well, yeah, sure. I'm not looking for anybody to agree with me. In fact, I'm fine with people disagreeing with me. As long as we have constructive conversation. Without devolving into name calling or labels or whatever, right?
Healthy debate and conversation is good. Being mean and vicious is not.
Well, of course not. No, it's not constructive. It's in anything. Like somebody shows a miniature that they painted and they're happy with it, and then you go, you missed this, you didn't do that, and you fucking fucked this up, and like that doesn't fucking help anybody. Like that's just being mean. It's just being an asshole to somebody.
I'm just a big fan of anything where we can have conversations like this and have different points of view, because I really don't like where things get to the point where disagreeing is bad. Like, having different opinions, you're not allowed to. It's like, if you don't agree with it, you're wrong. Anyway.
Right, but when we're talking about, like, things involving, children and stuff like that, can we have a debate? Is that a platform for debate? When we're talking about things that are kid-friendly? Are there debates around things that are kid-friendly?
Certainly.
I don't think so. Where do you have that? Where do you have the debate? And like in Sesame Street, is there debate in Sesame Street? Dora the Explorer.
I'm actually not very familiar with either of those.
Oh well, I have kids, so I've consumed a lot of kid material, and there's no debate.
I was going to say Sesame Street when I was growing up was like maybe once a month that we watched it.
Right, but Sesame Street does not spark debate.
No, I'm saying that debates around what's appropriate for kids is definitely a thing.
Right, but that debate does not occur in the children's material.
Right, not within their own material.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Oh, I should have had a snack before I did this stream.
So we're talking about kid material. We're still on that topic. My favorite is parents who try to teach their 3-year-old the intricacies of politics, and I'm just like, your kid just shit himself.
Yeah, no, there's a time and place for things,
Because I've met people who try or quote unquote teaching their kid politics, and he's like 5, and I'm like,
no, that's too early. Yeah, but that's up to the parent though.
I know it's up to the parent, which is like one of those things.
Right, but don't be shocked when a kid grows up and they have really weird worldview when they've been exposed to this kind of silliness, at a young age. Again, there's concepts that children just shouldn't be burdened with at a certain point. Mainly because they lack the maturity to formulate proper opinions. Their responses to everything are very emotional, because that's all kids really know.
And most likely going to parrot whatever the dad.
The mom or dad says yes, yeah.
To their actual, formulated.
Sophie, I love the old Looney Tunes cartoons. Still strange, apparently. Yeah, old Looney Tunes cartoons. Yeah, I used to watch that. That shit is just latent with racism.
When they tried to make it more kid friendly by taking away Elmer Fudd's shotgun that he would hunt with and replaced it with a giant freaking battle axe.
Yeah.
So it's like he's still trying to kill
What did
Bugs
they do to
Bunny.
Yosemite Sam? Didn't they take guns away from Yosemite Sam too?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you be a cowboy without guns?
No. What is the concept of a cowboy?
If you want to get real technical, they're just a ranch hand.
Right.
A ranch hand with a pistol.
Right. But here's the really fun part. What skin color are the first cowboys?
They were actually, if I remember correctly, Mexican.
They were black and Mexican. The first cowboys.
Because cowboy was a term we got from Mexico because they had whatever it translates into Spanish is what they called their ranch.
Yeah. But we have this misconception that cowboys being white dudes in big hats and big boots and stuff like that.
They actually didn't even wear big hats.
No, they were just hands. Yeah, that's just the big hat and the boots is just a fashion statement.
It's
has nothing to do with the job.
Yeah, because if you really want to get into it, most cowboys, if they wore a hat, wore the hell is it called? The bowler cap.
Yeah.
That's actually historically proven. That was the common hat of the day.
Yep. Well, even the term can seem kind of racist as well. Cowboy. Well, if we were referring to the first hands and they were black, when you say boy, is that usually a friendly way of saying it? Right?
It is not.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, this has been striking. I really need to go run some errands and find more guns.
Buy some guns.
No, I have
You're
to
going to
go.
buy an emotional support AR-15.
I'm going to LVO, so I need a new set of dice for it, and I have to test them out beforehand.
Oh, you're going to LVO? Cool.
Yeah. We originally were going, and then I switched jobs and then we weren't. And now I'm able to go again. I was able to get a ticket. So I'm bringing my Chaos Space Marines because, I hate myself.
Don't do that.
Well,
But
playing Chaos in this day and age is kind of a sign of character. It's like playing Eldar. Currently.
yeah, but I got the ruling back on my one stratagem that I was saying, and it feels so dirty that I have to do it.
Well,
Because I'm 100% sure that they're wrong in how it works, but the judges told me how they interpret it, so.
yeah, I wanted to go to LVO 2 years ago, but obviously things change.
Did they cancel that year? Because they canceled last year, right?
Yeah.
They had 21 2020, I think, because that was like what, January?
Oh yeah. That was just before everything went to.
Yeah, that was before.
Because Adepticon was the first major cancellation.
I think so. Yeah.
So.
Either way, it was all pain in the
ticked
ass.
off about that because they canceled it within a 2-week window of it starting.
Yeah, I kind of got boned on that because I lost out on my deposit on my ticket.
Oh, for your airline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got
My
fucked on that
airline
one.
gave me credit, and then my hotel refunded me.
Right, I know if you had hotels through them, then you were guaranteed your refund. But they couldn't do anything about airlines because they didn't control it.
Yeah. No, the bastards took my money.
I got screwed out of time off with work because I was then stuck sitting at home for like half a week without work. I was really annoyed.
Some people that I know that tried getting I just went with credit because I was like, I will eventually fly, and this is the airline I bought, so whatever.
Right, as long as they continue to honor the credit past, whatever date you wanted.
Most people, airlines didn't give refunds because they were like, well, you can technically still fly there, even though hotels were no longer taking, reservation stuff.
Yeah, it all gets down to dealing with the airlines. Luckily, I have status with Delta, so I can usually get by with a lot of stuff. Because I still have even though I quit my job that had the account, I'm still technically on the corporate thing to have permanent silver status. So I see no reason to inform them to take me off of that.
So you're defrauding them?
No.
I don't care. I'm just teasing.
I'm just not actively informing.
I wasn't gonna rat you out or anything like that. I was just making a joke, but yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of things that were connected to when I worked at my previous company that I just don't care enough to inform them to change it. And I don't know if it'll actually change anything or not. Like, if it actually matters. Because I'm not charging things to my old, work credit card.
But you could.
That would be fun.
So what you're saying is that we should have some fun and go on a shopping spree?
I'm pretty sure they canceled my card. I haven't tried it, but I haven't gotten a bill in, forever either. So I'm assuming it got canceled. I racked up some good amounts on that thing.
I hear you. We're gonna go shopping.
My manager got pissy at me one time because I got off the plane and when you've had a belt for so long and it's one with the the prod through, how it can, and if you use the same belt loop for a couple years, it gets really weak. Does that make sense to you at all?
Yep.
So standing up off the plane, it snaps. Great. So it was 2 days before pay. I didn't have cash. So I went to the place and I just used my work American Express. And she got really pissy about how I shouldn't do that and I should do that. I'm like, well, unless I can go pantsless to the client site, there wasn't really a choice in this. I'm not asking you to pay for it. I just needed it covered.
So did you go pantsless?
No.
Oh.
No, that was one of the weirder ones that I went to. Coolest trip I ever got to take with that company was when I got to go to EA headquarters.
Oh, that's cool.
That was super fun. I got to go shopping in the on-site employee store with their employee discount. So I got 3 games for $10 a piece that were brand new.
Later, Sophie.
I'm like, this is cool. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was actually the only time I've ever left the U.S. because that was up in Vancouver. That was when the Canada's, whatever their equivalent of TSA is up there, the airport agents, they wanted me to, because I didn't have pre-check in Canada like I do in the US. And they're like, you need to pull every single electronic device and put it in a separate bin. I'm like, all right, hand me 7. What? Yeah. We got like 2 laptops, 2 tablets, a video game system, my phone. So I'm sitting there, I'm taking half my bag off. And my shoulder had dislocated that morning. And they're like, you need to take your shoes off. I'm like, you gonna retime? They're like, huh? I'm like, all right, step 1. I dislocated the shoulder this morning. And it's just popped back into the side. I cannot physically reach my feet. And then they had to call over a supervisor. They're like, just let him through. Thank you for not making it weird. Although I had far less questions getting into Canada than I did getting back to the US, which is...
Yeah, usually Canada is kind of a stickler for...
Right, they're just like, what are you here for? Work? You got a piece of paper that says it? Yeah, right here. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I?
Step right in, bud.
Well, I had watched, I had watched like all of those Border Patrol shows. So you see all of these people that just run into so many issues getting into different countries that you just kind of freak yourself out, and then you're like, oh, wow, that was easy.
Traveling to other countries, unless you're like going to Russia and you work for the government in a Western country, it's fairly easy, as long as you don't make yourself look like a fucking idiot.
Right,
Like if you just
Don't-
act normal.
don't lie. If you're unsure, ask a question. And, don't try and deceive the guy who decides whether or not you get to enter. Also, I think the biggest thing I learned from those shows is if you're a dick to the guy at Border Patrol, you're not going to have a good day.
I'm not sure why anybody would be rude to anybody. That
But especially the guy who
like
decides
somebody who feeds you or something.
That always confounded me. The people that are rude to the people that decide whether or not you get to do stuff. Like, do you think they're gonna let you do it?
I always get frisked every time I go to the UK.
You get
Oh,
frisked?
Without fail.
I get frisked every time, but that's because I'm fat and body scanners don't work on fat people.
Well, I'm hairy and have a beard and long hair, so they think, aha, he has cocaine up his arse.
Do they like run their fingers through your beard?
I wish.
They always ask me when I get pulled aside, they're like, do you want a private room for this? I'm like, nah. If you're gonna grope me, you're just doing that shit.
I've never been frisked, and I've only had my luggage randomly checked once
Oh.
in all the times I've flown.
That is actually my biggest fear with going to Alabama, is them wanting to search through my army bag. I'm like,
I never taken one on the bags you can take with you on the plane. I never take one because I normally fit everything in a suitcase. And I've flown like lots of times. They've only ever checked my suitcase once. And that was when I went to a dentist.
to where?
They basically opened the case to check it, and all it had was like a couple days worth of clothes in it, because it was just empty space for me to buy shit.
So they're like, what are you up to?
Oh, well, there was a case with some minis I was gonna play with in there, so I guess they figured, oh, it's one of those guys. Because I flew out of BWI, which is like the major airport for this area, so like they probably had like hundreds of those dudes come through here.
Those dudes.
I used to
Gamers.
fly. Go ahead.
I think it was done.
Yeah, no, I was done. Chris said those dudes, and I was like, yeah, tabletop gamer.
I used to fly out of Fargo all the time, and it was terrible because every flight was like 30 minutes a hop over to Minneapolis, and then you had to go like inevitably from the two furthest points in the airport they could find, and it was horrible because half the flights I would get would be like, you have 30 minutes to get from gate A to gate double G. And for the longest time, they had some of their motorized walkways were broken for a while, and it was just nightmare. And half the people ran on the motorized walkways. But our local airport now is really good. Luckily, I've got once I go and buy the flight tickets, I'm going to try and get a nonstop to Vegas because I don't want to deal with it. I'll pay the extra for nonstop.
So I think the only time I've been on a flight where somebody in my has been checked was like a couple of days after 9/11. So that's when they were like checking everybody.
So my mom got pulled out of line both times that she's went to Amsterdam, and had like the full pat down.
So I remember my local airport because we were going to Florida to see relatives like a couple weeks after 9/11. They were anybody that was like over the age of like 5 was getting searched. I mean everybody.
Yeah, my parents flew to Vegas actually. Less than a month after, because they talk about it, they're like, wait a minute, why should we cancel? This is going to be the most secure flight I've ever been on. Like, it's not actually that bad of a thought process. I mean, this was when they were still had like, you know, they had the dogs sniffing everybody that walked through a metal detector still and everything. That was really crazy. Gosh, I feel old.
These dwarfs are coming along.
Your dwarves are coming.
I've painted 5.
Nice.
I've been slowly painting it.
Wait, what kind of videos are we shooting with dwarves?
The fun kind.
Oh, okay.
Scott Random, I'm out. Later, dude. Or you're out. Are you saying you're out or you're out? What kind of out are we talking?
The one you want the most.
No, I'm just teasing him.
Speaking of words, I've been painting Joseph Buck.
Oh yeah? How's that going?
2. One's for me and then one's for a friend. Oh, it's getting there.
Cool.
Because the one I have, it's the same sculpt. The one I have is a more recent version, so it has the paper banner and the blister that you can tape or put on his thing. And then the one I'm giving to a friend is the old one and doesn't have a paper banner. So I was like, do I want to print one out? Do I want to make one from a soda can? I just want to give it to him with the banner pull empty, and then he can figure out what he wants to do with it.
Right. Give him some options anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dee doo dee doo dee doo dee doo. Trying to think of a more efficient way to get this wood done. Nothing's coming to me.
No.
There's lots of little nooks and crannies and stuff, and I'm thinking that I might want to just kind of glaze, blend in some like lighter tones onto the wood, and then hit it with like Agrax Earthshade or something afterwards, just to pick all that wood texture out, and then maybe a final dry brush of like the really light wood value, whatever that value is going to be. I have no idea. I'm thinking I want something darky brown, but not too saturated, because I don't want it to conflict with the nice light values I have for his skin and this predominantly blue-green that I got going on everywhere else, right? I'm thinking anyway. So I think I just want like a darker gray, essentially being the lighter value of the wood. So it's kind of like, like driftwood, right? Like driftwood is kind of, dark gray, almost black in some areas. So I think that's the look I'm going to go for. It's kind of like driftwood. And it would kind of make sense, right, for a swampy, pig gatory thing to be carting around. I think. Right?
Yes.
Answer me, damn it!
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Cosmic. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sheep.
I think our view on driftwood is different, because I always see them as bone-colored husks of what they used to be. But that's probably coastal driftwood I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I guess.
Coastal driftwood, more.
Yeah. No, I realize, like driftwood is many different values, as wood is, many different values. But yeah, like when I think of driftwood, it's more grays. What's that? I'm sorry, I walked over you.
It's I just had a realization that there are more kinds of driftwood. Is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong. Yeah. Just something clicked in my brain. It's like, oh yeah, that would make so much sense. If it's a swampy area that it turns dark and brown and
yeah, because like in these parts, driftwood is dark. That might be, I don't know. I guess depends. I guess on wood and type of water. I guess.
Wood and what's in the water.
Yeah.
And then how it's like eroding, because like driftwood from the ocean tends to be a little bit more smoother, because not only is it like sitting in water, obviously, but it's getting tumbled around and stuff. So you get that like erosion, the bark and all that.
Right. Makes sense.
Swampy driftwood will retain its bark.
That, and it would also be a little bit darker because it's got more organics in it.
Yeah, like algae and shit like that.
Yeah. Well, you get like in swamps in these parts, the water tends to be very dark brown. That's just because all the organic matter in the water, and so driftwood, like in docks and stuff like that, tend to go very dark. They go gray, just because all the crap in the water. Not crap, but crap. I guess literally it probably is crap.
Probably.
Hummus.
The type of wood is also permanent, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Different trees grow swamps than they do on coastlines. For the most part, there's some that cross between different plant life, etc.
Yeah.
Different biome. These are big words.
Yeah, that's a good word.
Driftwood, to me, or whenever I hear driftwood, I always think about the actually the place where Connor lives around there. It's a lot of birch,
Birch, yeah.
and that turns this like grey white husk.
Yeah, and that might be why I think of it that way, because like where I'm from, it's a lot of birch, up in northern Ontario, and whenever I'm thinking of driftwood, it's usually dark wood like that, and you find it in the rivers and creeks and stuff like that, and yeah, it could be why. So I imagine like different woods, obviously, stay brown or go gray, you know. I'm not getting into the whole minutia of what kind of wood this wood is, but
Welcome to Horticulture 101.
yeah, exactly. I'm not that worried about it.
Which is a class I'm going to have to be taking.
Yeah,
Horticulture 101.
I don't think we need to go that
Teaches
far.
wood. Now coming to a convention near you.
Kim, you're really in the painting zone today, or just not really in the mood for streaming today? I don't think I ever heard you say so little in the stream. Me? I don't think so.
Things about you.
Talking about me?
We just haven't said anything saucy enough to really get Chris going.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were talking
really
quite a bit
zen
about parenting and shit a little while ago. Maybe you just wasn't here for that conversation.
Yeah.
I just took us down the
Let's go
road.
back. Go back to that color. No, just kidding. I go back.
One thing I've observed is that usually I'm the one who enables the smut.
I will temporarily go back to the kid conversation only because I think it's funny. So my Warhammer story, my friend who's the manager there has to keep it quote unquote kid friendly, so no bad words said in the store and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, there's a giant fucking poster of like a space marine cutting an orc in half on the fucking wall.
Yeah.
With like guts spewing everywhere, and I'm like, yes, kid friendly.
Yeah, well, and that's...
It should not know, the word fuck or shit, but yes, there's an orc getting cut on half on the wall.
Well, and that's one of my biggest issues about, this whole, kid-friendly environment is like for example, violence, like at least in North America here, right? If something's G...
Violence is more accepted than
yeah,
bad words and sex.
Exactly, right? Show a pair of boobs and... people lose their fucking minds, but show a guy getting decapitated and everybody's fine. As long as there's not too much blood, everybody's fine. Like, that seems really... Oh, yeah, Cosmic left. Later, duder.
Oh, he said he was leaving, 30 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah. So... But, yeah, I mean, it's just... It's fucking stupid. It's what it is.
He's going to a game tour.
The whole idea of no, we got to make it all kid friendly.
I find it hilarious. The irony of being kid friendly, yet there's a fucking dude getting cut in half. And I get it because it's at least in North American society, violence is more commonly. I wouldn't say commonly accepted, but it's not deemed as bad for kids to see violent shit as it is sex or bad word.
Yeah, I mean,
because like you were saying earlier, Star Wars is targeted towards kids. I would agree, but then you look at Clone Wars and what's happening. People are getting shot, people are dying.
Yep.
They're not saying bad words.
Nope.
And obviously
war crimes.
Not a lot of sex.
Not a lot. And we like to always gloss over how Anakin had to have been pounding Padme all the time.
I mean, wouldn't you?
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, the viability of it, I mean, it is not into question here.
I mean, they are in the movie. They are seen in the same bed together. And obviously, if you're an adult, it's implied sex, obviously. But
is it?
I mean, if you're a teen, it's implied.
If you're a teen, yeah. If you're above the age of I don't know, knowing what sex. But
Funny that we're talking about like kid-friendly stuff and the whole topic about children. Because I held a baby yesterday, and something deep within me said, I need one of these.
That's psychosis taking over.
Yeah, that's, I don't know.
If that kind of thought came into your head, that's psychosis.
That are like baser instincts, because like.
No, because no normal, rational person holds a baby and goes, you know what, I need one of these. Because then they just fucking end up taking it.
But most animals are like, I need to make fucking babies so the species continue.
Yeah, but they,
I mean,
they don't say that to themselves.
Oh, it wasn't like, oh fuck, whatever.
No, it wasn't like, okay, I need one of these babies. It was more like, maybe I'm at the age where a child wouldn't be a bad idea.
Well, it's...
I feel mature enough to be able to handle having a child and raising a child.
Well, they're nice little tax
it's
shelters.
Gonna be fucked up.
So there's a lot of benefit to keeping them around.
Yeah.
Little tax shelters.
Breaks.
Yeah, little tax breaks.
One night of fun leads to tax breaks.
Yeah.
They're so expensive.
There you go. There's my financial advice. One night of fun can lead to a tax break.
Yep. And the other hard part is that having a kid, deciding to have a kid, it's not just your decision alone either.
No, it is your spouse.
Yeah. So you got to get your spouse on board. Oh yeah, nice. We're making all sorts of noise now.
Well, I don't have one. So it's
well,
there are some steps in between. I have to.
Well, the beauty of the modern world is technically you don't need a spouse to have a kid. You just need a volunteer. So that's the beauty of the modern world.
This was in the news a while ago in the U.S. Like, I mean, a while ago, like a couple years. I just remember it because it's like one of those fucking crazy things that you just fucking remember because you saw it in the news. And you're like, oh, that's fucking crazy. There was a woman in Las Vegas decided that she was gonna have a kid, regardless of what the other spouse thought. So she went to a sperm bank and stole sperm.
And she stole it. Why would she steal it?
Because her partner didn't want kids.
Okay, but why would she steal it?
She was gonna make kids herself, so she went to a sperm bank. I don't know, but you can look it up. This happened. She went to a fucking sperm bank and stole some vial.
Because I don't understand why she would have to steal it.
I don't know. She just felt like she did. I don't know.
Because I mean, like, if she's a woman of any kind of pulse, she could just get it for free from anybody. Women typically do not have much trouble finding donors.
No, I get what you're saying, but that is what she did. She went to the sperm bank and stole sperm.
Yeah. That's crazy. That doesn't seem terribly cost efficient on her end. It doesn't sound like the actions of it doesn't sound like the actions of somebody who's very serious about their attempt.
I guess. I mean, she successfully stole the vials. She was arrested, but
right. But I mean, she didn't have to. So that sounds more like the actions of somebody who was trying to say something else, as opposed to just wanting to have kids. It's like in Goodfellas. Nobody goes to prison unless they want to.
People are crazy.
People are crazy.
That's what the news said. Wanted kids. Went to the sperm bank to steal it.
Yeah. Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Then again, do you laugh?
No.
Because you have Florida man who taught squirrels to attack people at the park.
True.
He's a level 6 Florida man that's multi-classed into druid.
That's possible. Goddamn Florida man.
Yeah, that's it's not a person; it is an entity.
It's a mindset.
It's a lifestyle.
So yeah, it's a lifestyle. Yeah, basically that's what it is. It's a lifestyle. You're choosing to live like a crazy person.
Yeah, I just wanted to be this mythical being that inhabits the body of anybody living in Florida. The hive mind. The gene stealers, that's what they are.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, maybe this Las Vegas one had 4 arms.
Yeah.
4 arms and a very large cranial bulge dome.
Bulge dome.
That thing on the back of Gene Stealer heads.
Yeah, the bulge dome. I got it.
Yeah.
I hear you. It's a bulge dome.
Yeah, you like my bulge dome?
Maybe that's a Gene Stealer cult pickup line between all the hybrids.
Could be an inside joke. Do you like my bulge dome? Oh, I love it. I love it when it's purple like that.
No, yours isn't purple enough.
Oh.
You're not squeezing hard enough.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have enough holes in the side of it.
Apparently. Don't have enough going on in that bulge dome. I kind of like the term now, bulge dome. What you got there? Got a bulge dome.
Oh, that guy's got sawdust in his bulge dome.
Yeah. He must be really popular with the girls with his bulge dome.
Oh, I can't deal with this.
What?
Pulling up a website to get stuff off.
What?
Checking the status of an order.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that reminds me, I have to check if they've shipped my dwarves yet.
Bondi shipped my White Scar Space Marine today.
Yeah, I seen some people are he's showing up on people's doors. I've seen a few other people were posting that they got their White Scar.
People that live in California first. Because the port of entry for the Bondi kit was a place in California.
Right.
People in Cali are getting them before everybody else just because, they live right next to fucking...
Bastards.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes we get luckier with the 40k shit.
Yeah.
On my side, because we live closer to Memphis.
Yeah.
When I've decided to take the plunge into 3D printing, do I think 3D printing is the end-all be-all? No, but there's some 3D sculptors making some cool models.
Oh, 100%, yeah. There's lots of people doing really exciting things right now with 3D printing.
Having been laid off a couple days before Christmas, I have gone, well, I spend, the $200 for a 3D printer now. Obviously, I have gift cards and shit for Christmas. It will save me money till I secure a better job, because right now I'm just doing part-time side work that kind of just covers the bills. That's about it.
Yeah.
It allows me for this subscription to Raging Heroes, 3D printing, monthly 3D printing, they give you a bunch of files every month. It's $16, and I'm effectively getting 50 miles. Not counting, resin and time and shit. But, the files are there, so I just pick what I want.
That's alright.
It was less 3D printing is the future. Because I think, in my opinion, 3D printing and kits you buy will like somehow coexist, because people are always going to want to put together plastic bottles. I mean,
I certainly hope so. Hard to say.
and then there's some people that like metal models. Unless you want to buy a really expensive machine, you can't 3D print metal models. I mean, you can. It's just an expensive, like real expensive.
You should make one out of W2.
Well, let me rephrase that. Even with at-home 3D printing, I think there will still be a market to where you go to a store and buy a kit. Whether that kit was also 3D printed, no fucking idea.
Don't know. Honestly, like with 3D printing, I mean, like, yeah, is it the future of the hobby? Possibly. I mean, like, the capacity for the printer to give us the box miniature, it definitely, in the shortest amount of time, it definitely is that vibe, because printing a printed or painted model is very, very close, right? To getting the box art and printing up that, yeah, that's very close.
Colored printing.
Yeah, color printing, yeah.
Oh, you're talking about, okay.
Yeah.
Because
I would think
the
like
injection mold is quicker.
Right, but I mean, injection molding only works with like large format runs, right? And for example, like if Games Workshop wanted to do injection molded Ultramarines, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, and whatever's Ultramarines, that's a bunch of different colors that they have to do a run of, right? So if they're going to do a run of Blood Angels and sprues for Blood Angels, that's a lot of excess models being created to accommodate people who want a Blood Angel Space Marine versus buying the printer and printing out the amount that you would need.
Let me rephrase what I'm saying, I guess, to make it more sense. What I'm saying is, I wouldn't be surprised if GW still keeps making its kits, obviously.
Yeah.
But then they release either a special website or a special tab on their current website where you can buy STL files from them.
Yeah, Games Workshop, they're not getting into this 3D game, at least by all best estimations. They're not getting in this game until that printer comes out. That open up the box, turn it on, hit print me a Space Marine, I want a Blood Angel, and boom, it does it.
Mm-hmm.
Games Workshop's not getting into 3D printing until the technology reaches that point. That it's open. It's as easy as opening up the box, pour in whatever your material is, click, this is what I want, and bang, it happens. Right? It's a couple clicks and you have your miniature. Until it's that easy, yeah, that's not happening, right?
Because I'm sure they've looked at it.
Oh, they have the technology in their studios.
Well, yeah, because some of the, I mean, you can see the lines in some molds, like
Yeah.
especially like the resin stuff. But
yeah, you
where
can
they printed a master. But
100%, because this guy I've got for Necromunda, you can see he's 3D printed, and this is a resin part, but I can see the print lines on it that were when they printed it, and you can see on their website when they have like new release stuff. If you click on some of the preview images, you can see the print lines on that master that they've painted, like the the reveal stuff.
I've noticed that they've been painting masters or 3D printed prototypes. I mean,
Well, sure, why not? I mean, like once they have the master on the file, they can print up how many they need. So if somebody was, if they have their heavy metal team, right, they can print up, say, a couple, Emperor's Champion masters, paint them up whatever scheme they want, and you know what I mean? Like, it's done. And you can't tell their masters from a plastic piece once it's painted, right?
no,
But
unless
molds,
you like
though.
really zoom in, I think it has more to do with whoever painted it actually.
Yeah. Well, it depends on the prep, yeah. What were you going to say there, Barfing?
What was that mole you just showed? The Space Marine guy with the sword, or whatever
That's
it was.
Emperor's Champion.
Oh, it's the newest Emperor's Champion.
Holy shit! I need one.
They should play Black Templars.
Yeah, he's a really cool
I
kid.
just
He's
want
pretty
him.
straight. He's pretty straightforward to put together. I did him with his backpack off so that I can get to some of his doodads.
Even though he's a Black Templar character,
But yeah.
I don't think he has any iconography.
No. Other than on his shoulder, he has the Templar.
No.
Oh, he's got Templar on both.
But well, you can easily swap the shoulder or trim that off. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
But yeah, there he is with his backpack
I
and
put them
everything.
together a while ago, so I don't even remember his shoulders.
It's a sweet mole.
I think they were separate. His shoulders are separate anyway, so you can swap them.
Yeah. Although this, with the shield here on his chest, that shield is attached to the shoulder pad. I think it's attached to his whole arm.
It's attached to the shoulder, but most Primaris kits come with that little shield, and it comes with multiples of them because you put them on your. You're supposed to put them on your sergeant, but people typically leave their shields off,
Gotcha.
and you can easily if there's a gap there, you can easily fill it with a chapter specific one.
Let's mix a little bit more. I'm mixing Dark Reaper into Dryad Bark for anybody who's watching and wondering what colors I'm using here. Just throwing a little bit of Dark Reaper into Dryad Bark just to knock the saturation of the brown out, and the slight blue values of Dark Reaper really give you this nice desaturated color. It's not getting any brighter. We're just desaturating the color, and we're going to create our Deadwood look with this color. I think from this point forward, though, I think I'll add white. Maybe Ushabti Bone, actually.
How was everybody's holiday?
Mine weren't bad. How were yours?
I don't know if you saw, but
I didn't.
came. What?
Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I don't know if you saw, but somebody came to the little. We didn't have a mass. Normally, the whole family gets together, like all 100 of us, but we didn't do that because COVID, etc., etc. So I had at my house just a small amount of people, it was like maybe 6 of us, and basically it was agreed upon that everybody should just go get tested. Sure, they're not fucking sick. One person did not do the test and said they did. Came. Didn't push that. So it'd been Monday night. They got rushed to the hospital.
Oh, fuck.
And they had COVID. They had to go to hospital. And so that would have been Sunday night. Monday, because Monday I went and got tested, and I took a rapid test. The rapid test said negative, but those are kind of iffy. So right now I'm waiting on my official test results, I guess.
Right.
And I'm not necessarily worried myself getting sick, but it's like if I had not been told he was hospitalized with COVID, I was going to see my grandmother, and she's immunocompromised. Heart surgery.
Right.
So I could have given it to her.
No shit.
If I have it, I don't know if I have it, but that was one of those things.
Assume you do.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah.
I haven't left the house. I told my Necromunda group that I'm just not coming in for 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Even if my test result says it's negative, I'm just.
That's tough. It's a good thing though that you got tested and keep your grams safe.
Yeah, no, had I not been told, I would have gone.
Yeah.
There's that 50-50 if I had it and wasn't sick and gave it to her.
Yeah.
Well, she's immunocompromised, so even you know, the common cold is a threat to her at the moment.
Right. Oh, that's crazy, man. If that was me, man, I'd be fucking cursing up a storm at whoever that was, that relative.
He was told to be nuts.
Yeah.
This relative is also the same relative, is diabetic, and in the last month has had 2 diabetic attacks.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. So they're in the habit of not doing what's best for
They're
her.
in the habit of being like little fucking shitheads.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
The most recent one was actually a few days before Christmas week, that Tuesday. So the day before we had stream. He ate a quarter of a loaf of cinnamon raisins in one sitting.
Jesus.
Does
Madman.
things like goes and gets the freaking like little Debbie trays of honey buns and then eats all the fucking honey buns in one sitting.
Good grief.
I'm not gonna feel bad for you if you know your foot gets cut off.
Yeah. No, that's fucked up. Like,
I mean, I would feel bad if they were like, you know, by the book, you know, following what their doctor said and they still had to like lose the foot. I would feel bad then.
yeah.
But no, it's like you're not helping yourself at all.
No, and it's kind of hard to help somebody who's not willing to help themselves. And it's hard to have empathy for somebody who's not willing to at least take a step in the right direction, you know? It's hard. It's really hard when it's family. It's a total stranger. You can say, yeah, you fucking jerkwag, and get yourself
My
fucking
brother
tested,
tells
you
me
know?
to play now. Like he's getting close to that point where it's
Yeah, you know, it is really hard, you know, like it's especially when it's family, especially when it's older family members, and you know you're brought up to be respectful, and then here they are being irresponsible, you know, and unfortunately, I mean, like the way I was taught, you know, yeah, you respect your elders, but also respect is earned, and it's not just immediately given out.
and I doubt that this person has been staying like they're supposed to because they're literally Dave.
Yeah, no, and I know plenty of those types like that you know, just they feel like they can forsake the general rule. The rules don't apply to them. And I don't know how that mentality comes about, but yeah, you know.
It was bad for my brother because he was the one. That's how I found out. He texted me because he said, "Oh, I had to take those to the hospital because they called them like pooping in a holler that they like really feeling and all that shit." And I was like, "Well, if this doesn't fucking wake, if the doctor telling them that straighten out with their diabetes or lose the foot didn't fucking straighten it out, I doubt being rushed to the hospital and like a freaking panicked friend is going to set them straight."
No. Unfortunately, sometimes with some people like that, it's too late. It's really unfortunate, but yeah, sometimes it's just too late for those kinds of people. They are just so ingrained in their own mentality, their own selfishness that yeah, they can't see what they do has consequences, especially to those who they say they love. You know? Because if you truly love somebody, you're not going to put them in danger, in any kind of danger. The very idea that your actions can cause harm to a loved one would just make them ill to the stomach just thinking about it. Right? So it's unfortunate there's people like that they're unfazed by these fucking things that this world is going through. And no, I don't care. It's me. Me. That's really unfortunate that there's people out there who think that way.
Should be getting my test result either tonight or, but even if it's negative, I'm not really.
Well, good luck, and hopefully you keep your grandma safe. Keep her safe. That's all we can do right now. Let's keep our loved ones safe. Unless, of course, you don't love your grandma, then, then let the old bitch fucking have it.
Well, I wouldn't have been going to spend New Year's with her.
No, I know. I'm just being an ignorant asshole. Just let her fucking go. Find out if she truly is part of the greatest generation.
Granted, a lot of people in my family have the mentality of like, well, if my ticket gets punched, my ticket gets punched.
Yeah.
I have that same way myself, but it's like if it affects other people, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it is tough because I mean, when you are your own person, you know what I mean, like, and you take your own chances. Yeah, that's fine, but this whole scenario is not, individual. It's
not like it's not like having diabetes and totally disregarding what the doctor says.
Right.
Leading yourself into whatever.
Ignoring.
You can't transmute diabetes by coughing on somebody.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. It's unfortunate.
I did decide that so over COVID I've been growing my beard out, and in these have been various stages of length. I decided recently that I'm going to shave my face. Well, not the whole face, but I'm going to do the Captain Price mutton chops. So I was going to be rocking them for a little bit, and me, Stinky, Think Cosmic, and Matt were in chat last server, the Discord server, and I was trying to convince join me if it does happen. Trying to convince people to join me in like a doubles event for like Saga or unsurprisingly, if Adepticon does happen, a lot of the European companies are coming over, and a lot of the Canadian companies aren't. So the event list itself is kind of slim.
Right.
So I don't know if they need that second location this year.
Yeah.
Just looking. I mean, yeah, sure, they need a bigger place, but this year, looking at the events, it's kind of like slim pickings compared to 2019. Not surprised by it, but I'm like, maybe they should have waited on that second.
It's kind of hard to predict. I mean, like.
Well, that is true because nobody saw this new variant that everybody's worried about.
Well, and I mean, like as it is right now, I mean, like with this whole new variant, I mean, it's the science is still out as far as whether or not how deadly it is, and yeah. So I mean, like erring on the side of caution of treat it like it's serious, makes sense. Of course, everybody wants to blow it out of proportion. Well, it's not that deadly, so blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So, for fuck's sakes,
yeah. It's either it's not that deadly, or oh my god, everybody's gonna die.
Exactly. I mean, like again, making these decisions. If you are thinking of a loved one, that your actions can impact them, then you're really not going to go wrong. But when you aren't thinking of other people and you're only concerned, well, I'm healthy, so I don't need to get vaccinated. I don't need to wear a mask. I don't need to do these things, and just go out and then you infect other people. I mean, like, that's the problem. Just assume you're going to pass it to somebody and act accordingly. Cover your mouth. Like, at the very least, cover your mouth. Yeah. It's not hard. But what it is it's it's a lack of empathy. It's a lack of civic concern. And especially when you have, and it's a bunch of people who call themselves patriots, and it's like, that doesn't seem very patriotic. Patriotism is, protecting your fellow citizens. How does that seem like protecting fellow citizens when you're just disregarding health concerns?
Yeah. I was gonna say, patriot is one of those words kind of lost its meaning. And it's not because one particular side, it's because both sides kind of throw it around a lot. The word
Yes.
that's overused.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of lost it's just a catchphrase.
It is. It's become lost in rhetoric. And that's unfortunate. But yes, I agree. And on that fucking dour note, let's call it a day.
Oh shit.
We're 10 minutes OT here.
Let's go. Another hour.
Let's go another hour. So, okay. So, Boop. Words of wisdom. Go.
Words of wisdom. Shit. You got the coop. Stay the fuck home. I don't know.
Yep. There we go. Sheep. You still there?
I'm still here.
Any final words of wisdom?
I'm gonna second Boops, just to really get the message out there.
I
Cover
got-
your
I got
fucking
another
mouth.
I got another one.
Okay.
40K is not a children's hobby.
True.
Building models can be. 40K
Yeah.
itself is not.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep.
There you go.
And Kim says, remember to shave your nuts. Now the new year is coming. Yeah.
Damn. Ooh, before you close, Como, is the new year going to bring a new phrase? New year, new phrase?
Well, he has this week to run it out, right?
Yeah, are you going to new year, new phrase?
Yeah, because
Want to spice it up a little bit in the new year?
it's Friday night is New Year's Eve. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna get...
Gonna get fucking slammered or what?
Yeah, no, I got a whole bunch of alcohol coming soon. Hopefully it gets here in time. It's technically 2-day shipping, so it should be here tomorrow.
Boops gonna get crunk.
What is it, the fucking Amazon of booze or what?
Most places in the U.S., if you buy alcohol, they ship the 2-day shipping because they require a signature. And in the U.S., if you're sending something, normal mail that requires a signature, it costs about the same as sending 2-day shipping requiring a signature.
Damn.
So, yeah. So it should be tomorrow.
Kim, yeah, I'll find something new for 22.
Oh, another one. 2022. It's 2022, the sequel.
Next to Boogaloo.
And on that note, we end this fucking stream. 22 is actually 2022. For fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
I think you just ruined the internet. Oh my god. Alright, let's end it there.